So, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Soccer Hub Talks. My name is Nuno Milheiro, and I am Soccer Hub's Head of Operations and Partnerships. As you all know, Soccer Hub is an online education platform for soccer coaches, soccer scouts, soccer analysts. So, don't forget to visit our page and also to check our new courses already available. Before we start, I'll ask you to click on the like button to see if everything is okay with the audio and with the video, and to put some information about yourselves in the chat box, such as your role in football, the country, and the country where you are based. So today's subject is the golden age of Nigerian soccer, and we invited a very special guest to speak about it. So, someone that was part of the best generation ever of Nigerian football, the Super Eagles, as they are commonly known as. He played a total of 63 games for his country, winning an African Cup of Nations, a golden medal at the 96 Olympic Games in Atlanta. Our guest also played in great clubs such as Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, among others, where he was always important, a very important player for the team. So we are obviously talking about the great legend, Sunday Oliseh. Let's welcome him, although he's with some problems, some technical problems, so we'll be waiting a bit for him. So let's hope he can join us soon. So guys, please ask also your questions, the questions you like to ask to Sunday. Okay, let's just wait a bit. These things happen, of course. They are live, they are online, and it can happen. So let's wait a bit and see you guys in a bit. Okay, so let's just wait a few seconds. Hello again, guys. Sorry about the delay. Again, we are Sunday is experiencing some problems with his connection, so just bear with us. We hope we can sort it soon. So in the meantime, thank you for the comments. Thank you, Glaucius. Thanks for your message, and we hope Sunday can join us very shortly. So please, like I said, please bear with us, and these things happen. And for sure it's worth it to wait a few more minutes. So see you guys in a bit, and don't forget to ask your questions. Okay, thank you. So hello again. Hi, Sunday.
Hello, Nino.
Hello. So sorry, everybody. Once again, these things happen, and it's technical issues in these days. But at least we have Sunday here. We have the legend. I've been waiting so many years. A few more minutes is not a problem. So
Nino, I'm sorry, but I don't know what happened to my system. It's not your fault. It was my system that was not trying to accept the call, but
okay.
that's what we have to sorry from COVID. That's COVID-19 for you. Sorry.
Yeah. That's fine, and we have you here, and you look exactly the same like when you were playing. So I don't know what you are doing, So you look the same, and I look much older than at the time when I was following you, all your career. Thank you guys for your patience, also, of course, and but it's for you guys. It's also a pleasure to have Sunday in here with us, and don't forget to ask also your questions. I already been doing an introduction, so Sunday, please confirm if that's correct. Of course, you are part of the best generation of Nigerian football ever. You played a total of 63 games for your country, okay? Winning an African Nations Cup and also a gold medal at the 96 Olympic Games in Atlanta. Is that correct?
I've been lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not only lucky. Of course, luck is part of it. No, some but it's a small percentage of luck. When the things are properly done, luck is also part, but it cannot be everything for sure. And so you also played in great clubs such as Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, among others, of course. And you always been a very important player for all of those teams, for the national team, also for your style of playing, also allowing many of your the players with the forwards and the midfielders that were more creative. You were more a defensive midfielder, so you've been sacrificing yourself a lot to keep the balance, for the team. Is that true?
Yes, but I'm fortunate to say that even though I sacrificed for the others, I was able to get also things for myself. People noticed what I was doing. That was the lucky part.
Yeah, of course. And that goal against Spain, it shows that, yeah.
Yeah, God is great,
Yeah, of course. I invite everyone to watch it again and again. And the youngest generations that didn't have the chance to watch you playing, now they have YouTube. They for sure they can find videos. They can find videos about it. So thanks again to be here with us and to accept our invitation in such a kind way since the first time I was contacting you. And congratulations about your career. It was an amazing career as a footballer. It keeps being a great career in everything that you are involved, also as a coach. And so let's start with your current projects, if that's okay for you. Can you please share with us some of your current projects, what you've been doing after you finished your career as a player, for the ones that are not aware of it?
Well, I stopped playing in 2006, and in 2007, I started my coaching course. I was trying to, and I studied with the English FA in England, and there I spent 4 years. I was able to get the pro license as a coach, and ever since I've been consulting and as an analyst. I've worked with FIFA on the technical study groups, doing the World Cups and the Olympics in Rio, and I've also been coaching some clubs in Europe. And at the moment, thanks to COVID, I'm on lockdown like everybody, but we're coming out gradually. So
yeah. So thank you for sharing with us that part. But also the COVID also was bringing some present to all of us that we're gonna talk a bit about it. I don't know if it was only the COVID to bring that present, but for sure it also gave you some time to finish it. But we'll talk about it in a second. So so how can you share with us, how did you deal with the end of your career? Was it clear in your head when you wanted to finish? What role you wanted to be in football, to do in football, apart from being a player? If you always wanted to stay linked to football, how was that transition? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you start to prepare a bit earlier in your head? How it was?
In 1998, when I was at Ajax, then I decided I was going to be a coach after football.
Okay.
I mean, it happened because I was in Ajax and I had seen that, not that the players, with all due respect, not that the players of the Ajax system were more talented than the Africans or the South Americans or all that, but they played like it's as if they were taught football. They had a team style of play that everybody participated in. And this team style of play meant that a lot of things were already done on training ground. So I felt that, okay, it was interesting. And then I decided, okay, if I finish football, I would like to be a coach and apply my knowledge through this formula to share it with younger players. And after that, I also, during the course of the career, I found out that I was being employed I was called into the office sometimes to ask my opinions by the clubs that I played in, what I felt about how to manage things. And I also got the opportunity to be invited by TV studios on their platforms, especially BBC, to give my opinions on games. And because they liked the way I answered their interviews as a player and wanted to have me on the scene. So that's how it was born, the idea of becoming an analyst and a consultant about football. So all those things, I knew it already. So when I stopped football, I was ready. I was clear in my mind what I wanted to do.
That's great. It's not all the time like that, but like inside the pitch, you were always like I said, I followed all your career, and you always had the right decisions also in the pitch, and you had in your mind very clear what to do with the ball. So it seems that also you also had very clear in your head what to do afterwards. And is that also related with your way that you have? This, of course, this is more a conversation than obviously an interview. Like I said, I have the privilege and the chance to watch you playing, and you've always been a leader inside the pitch, although a quiet leader. You were not the kind of leader that you had to shout.
No.
Your teammates only had to look at you, and they had respect. They knew they were protected. The forwards in their back, and of course you were the balance of the team. So do you think also that that kind of leadership was also leading you to become a coach? You thought you have those skills, and also if you had any influence from the coaches. Of course you had great coaches like to mention Carlo Ancelotti, for example, and I believe Louis van Gaal also, I believe so, and others, not only, but you have that privilege also. Did they influence you to do it, to become a coach? And also it was that kind of leadership was also something that was inside of you that you think it's suitable, of course, to teach the players to how to behave?
When I look back now that we are older,
yeah.
In fact, I was already coaching as a.
Are you older? Sorry. Are you older?
That's a good one.
I'm not sure about it, but okay.
You got me there. You got me there.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Well, now that I'm looking back now, as a player, I was already coaching.
Yeah.
Because a lot of all the coaches I had, most of the coaches I had, during training, or even before the games, they were always telling me, hey, when the team is doing, I need you to make your teammates do this. I need you to tell your team, keep your position, your teammates, They were always doing that, even from a young age, and I was doing it well. So I think most of the coaches it became a part of me, like while I'm playing, sometimes I don't have to talk, but with my hand, I'm just saying left, right? I got him, it's my man, don't worry, I'll do it,
Yeah.
It was a part of me that. And I must be grateful to my teammates because they appreciated it. When you have teammates who always come to you after games and say, hey, man, thanks, man. You helped me out there when I lost the ball, It makes you feel good, And I had a lot of them with the Super Eagles of Nigeria when I played with the national team.
Yeah.
And at Ajax also, I had a lot of that. So the point is, it was then that it started to grow, this learning of how to help people and get somebody to play better, even if I am not looking like the star, but you're working for somebody to be better.
Yeah.
And when you come, the question you asked, you're asking about the coaches that influenced me. I met a lot of coaches, but there was one that really influenced me the most. That was Morten Olsen. I had at Ajax Amsterdam. People expect me to say Ancelotti or this, that, because they have bigger names.
Yeah.
But Morten Olsen, for me, was an exceptional human being. He was very hardworking. He didn't believe in things happening by luck. He believed that we have to work it to provoke the luck. Yeah. He was hard. He made us work hard in training, but he was a very good human being, because if you had a problem, he was the first one that would call you on the side and say, hey, what's wrong, man? You're not smiling like 2 days ago. What's wrong? You did not look, is there anything I can do? Is madam okay? Are the kids okay? He's like that. And I felt that this is what I like, a coach that not only tells me what to do, but is on my side. And that's how I practically coach now. So in fact, I stayed lifelong friends with him, because even I spoke with him just 2 weeks ago. We call each other. He lives here in Belgium.
Okay.
I've gone to see him to tell you how much he has been an influence in my person. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm grateful to him.
it's fantastic, and that you still keep the friendship, and that's more than a trophy, when you see that you can keep that friendship, and you can keep learning and sharing ideas, and that's a fantastic thing also about football. You said a very interesting thing. You said that you've been coaching already inside the pitch when you were a player, so you were trying to to bring the best from your teammates, even giving some instructions inside the pitch. But at the time you also had to face, I would say, you catch the time where you were a defensive midfielder, for the ones that don't remember. For sure 99% remember. And you were facing probably the generation with more talented players as number 10s, so it was directly, so you had to stop them. So you were saying that in the end of the game your teammates were coming to you saying great work, but for sure those number 10s, they were not so happy. But but do you think also that helped you to face so many great players in that position, so you could see their weak points, the strong points? Do you think also that the position where you were in the pitch had to make you think faster than the others many times?
Well, the position I play, that I played, and it applies a lot. That was the time football was getting into the new generation.
Yeah.
So I was in between two generations. I think I met football at a time where there was an older generation who was based a lot on individual play, and then there was a new generation coming up that was based on team play.
Yeah.
So we were in between. We were when the transition was coming in. And one of the first things I learned that I felt helped me a lot as a soccer player was I learned that you didn't have time on the ball, and you had to, and I learned this in the early 90s. You have to think before you receive the ball. You have to already know what you want to do without the ball. You only change your mind if what you want to do is blocked. You want to change it to the right side. It's okay, I get the ball, I'm changing it. Then you get it, you want to change it. Somebody blocks you, okay, you eliminate him technically, and then you change it anyway if you can. So those were the things that came in with time, and that helped my football a lot. At one time, I kept it as a secret to myself, but it's what everybody's doing now, so it's no secret anymore. It was like you're as good as you think. If you think quick in football, you play better and you play quicker.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for sharing it, and that's true. Yeah, and especially in these days, that the game is played in a shortest space in the pitch. You need to be very quick, having your reactions. Of course, football changes like everything in life, and so Michael here is saying, hi Michael, first of all, love the story about Morten Olsen, and also that you see the importance of seeing the person behind the player, so important in every level. So that's true. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that with us. So now let's talk a bit about that present that we've been talking, the present that you are giving to all of us, not only to Nigerian people, but to all the world, because I believe that everybody was supporting Nigeria, especially in that World Cup in '94, and also in Atlanta, but in the World Cup was something fantastic. Everybody wanted the Super Eagles to win. So can you tell us a bit more about the book that was released last week? And by the way, thanks a lot for your kindness. I would like to share that because Sunday was so kind and invited me to be present at the event. That was the presentation of his book. It was a great honor to me. And I just wanted to tell you, it was fantastic to be able to travel in time. Most of all, it was lasting, I think, about 2 hours, but it was like flying. The time was flying, with great players there that are part of of football, are part of my youth. And so congratulations again also about the organization. And so can you share a bit more with us about your book, why you decided First of all, if you have you got it there with you?
Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote this book, and it's called. Let me go this way. It's called
Yeah.
the audacity to refuse.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It,
Okay.
it's it covers, like you said, COVID helped me finish it
Yeah.
in a calmer manner, but I had planned to release it this year anyway, because I wanted to release the book to coincide with 25 years of our winning the Olympics in Atlanta '96.
Yeah.
So the book is totally, it just covers my career and my childhood. It covers, if you read the book, you get to see what it's like playing in top clubs, what the dressing rooms are like, what the
Yeah.
mentality is like in a top club, like the mentalities I met at clubs like Ajax Amsterdam, Juventus Turin,
Yeah.
or Borussia Dortmund, or FC Cologne, and it
Yeah.
also covers the golden generation of arguably Africa's greatest team, which is the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And then it gives a lot of insights into not only just about football, but about the challenges we experienced as human beings, and how I was able to handle those challenges when they came my way, and even those ones that I failed to handle, that I was not successful in handling.
Okay.
But hopefully I learned from them, not to know how to handle them if should they come up again. And the book is about 348 pages, and
Okay.
it covers 16 years of my career. And the feedback I'm getting about the book is, I'm very grateful for the feedback I'm getting, because most people say they buy it and they can't put it down, which is good for me,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful. But the most important thing about the book was I wanted to share.
Yeah.
I wanted to share my career. I wanted to share my difficulties. I wanted to share my high moments, my lows. I wanted to share my ideas. I wanted to share with the young players what you need to do what I believe you need to do to make it to the top. I wanted to share what it was like for colored players like myself, especially at the time when Europe. Now there are a lot of checks and balances. Even then racism is still very hard.
Yeah.
But I also share also the kind of like the rude and the high exceptional ones we had to go through, and how we handle it. But there are a lot of, it's wide. That's it.
That's great. That's great. And also to keep, not only to talk about yourself, your career, but like you said, about the best African team ever, and your teammates, and to keep them in history. So with the book, they will remain always there for youngest generations also to understand it, and they can learn from it. So that's fantastic. And if I can ask you, why that title?
The audacity to refuse.
Yes.
Because life is all about, life is, the way I see life is this. There is always somebody who thinks you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
The way they see it, not the way you see it. It's and they always believe you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
The way they see it, that suits them, but not necessarily that suits you, unless they are your parents.
That's true.
And I think if they are not your parents, you should always have the audacity to refuse to have limitations placed on your head. And I share the limitations that were placed on my head as a human being, not because it's just me, but because that's how it is.
Yeah.
And then for that reason, I believe that if I am talking to you today, if I was blessed to make it enough in my career as a soccer player to the point where I am still relevant now, you're talking to me, is because I refused those limitations and I was able to succeed where many failed. So I share those limitations. Some I keep to myself because they are too embarrassing to share, and how I handled the ones I was able to handle.
Yeah, that's a fantastic title for the book, for the reasons that you said. So you never accepted the no, like when people were saying, for example, you are not good enough or something, things like that. But do you believe also that is important for a player to have the audacity to say no when it's like to choose, for example, a club or something that you don't believe, when for example an agent or someone else wants to give you an option that you don't feel is the best for you? Sometimes it's so important to refuse, things, like also to accept. Do you think it's also important to think by your own head?
Well, if you don't think by your own head, you're going to be living someone else's life, not your life.
Exactly.
It's just exactly that's how it is. And furthermore, I believe that people will always, like I said earlier, people will always tell you, this is what I think is right for you. This is what I think is good for you. And I think the best person to tell you what is good for you are your parents, maybe your spouse, who's because your wife shares the same, your destiny is, or your wife's destiny is tied to yours, just like your husband's destiny is tied to yours. So that way you are kind of like a team. That's why they call it marriage anyway. So, but if unless you're in those situations, then you can really accept it's okay. This is what they feel is best for you. But if you are in the working environment, business environment, I think no matter how, you can't always say no, because there are sometimes you have to say yes now so that you can say no later. But because now I have to say yes now because I am not strong enough to say no. But I put it in my head, okay, there is a limitation there. Okay, I will accept it now. But by the time the tables turn, and that same person is telling you, no, I say, no, hell no, I'm not taking it anymore. No. It's not. But you have to be, with all due respect, if you think more, you succeed more. If you think less, you fail. You succeed less.
That's true. I agree 100% with you. And I think when you have the things, in your hands, you are not so dependent on the others or rely on the others. You are closer to success. And most of all, success can be a word with many, you can, with many definitions. But I think the best definition for success is happiness, So, so if you are, in charge of your own success, of your own destiny, so you are closer to be happier and not only doing the things that apparently are good for others. And it happens a lot, especially in football, that in these days that many players, they rely on everyone and that surrounds them, of course not the family. That is very important, the family. And we have examples of players when they have a strong family background, they are closer to success, in many ways, not only on terms of happiness, but also in terms of success, in terms of trophies. And we have lots of examples. So we have here Glossius saying, so you made him cry, apparently. So let me show here. So apparently Kanu was the one making him cry. Soccer team of Nigeria can do the same or close to what they did in the final of the Olympics, win the game of Brazil with a show of Kanu. I cried in that game because I'm a fan of Brazil.
Yes, but I feel sorry that we made him cry by beating Brazil. But I would like him to please understand that it was either them or us. So it was either we won, it was either they cried or we cried. So that's how the football is. But that notwithstanding, Brazil won it eventually in 2016. So we are all happy now. We are all good.
Exactly.
We all have Olympics gold to go to with all our lives with. So
And then Gloss, thank you for your question first of all. And if there is country that cannot cry so much is Brazil, because with so many titles, in history.
Yeah.
So you guys, you and Germany probably are the ones that cannot complain about crying. Me,
Yeah.
I'm Portuguese, so finally we won in 2016, but we also cried in home match against Greece, for example. And I had here Katsuranis previously, and he was happy. It's always like that, in the finals or whatever in the match. Someone will be crying, someone will be happy, but the important thing is to be there, so for sure. Do you believe it's possible Nigeria to do the same, or at least to win some trophies like that generation? Do you see that can happen in a short term or in the long term, or there is still a lot to do, or how do you see Nigerian football at the moment?
Nigeria has the potential to be world champions.
Yeah.
We will always have the potential. And that is something because an example has been set by our generation.
Yeah.
So we were able to win something at an adult level, that is the world level. And the fact that we also have a population like Brazil, we are huge. We are 200 million people. Brazil is over 200 million.
Yeah.
And the number one sport from afar in Nigeria is soccer. So most is football. So most kids on the street, once you're growing up, it's football you have to play. So that is how it is. For that reason, I think it is always possible. What is holding us down as a nation is just administrative problems.
Yeah.
Just administration and organization problems. And I think I follow the history of Portugal. Portugal had that at one time too.
Yeah.
And they were able to get their act together, and we saw what happened. Some teams like Porto are now world European Champions League heavyweights now. They're no longer lightweights.
Yeah.
The league itself might not be number one in Europe, but it keeps on producing players and clubs. That is the same thing that we have in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I am very, very optimistic. I think Nigeria can do well, but a lot has to be done as regards administration and management. That is just what is holding the country down.
That's true. Unfortunately, yeah, but there is a way. It's at least you have talented players, you have everything, so it's just a matter of time and just a matter to do the things in a proper way. Do you think the former players from your generation and other generations have a key role also to they could contribute more, of course, if people allow because we know not all the time is possible, because unfortunately one thing that makes football sometimes makes it harder, it's the egos. Many people that bring their egos, and they want to show, they want to to come in the cameras, in the spotlights, not for the good reasons. Do you think they could take advantage in a good way more from players like you and others that been part of that generation, because you guys have the knowledge, you guys been in so many great clubs all over the world, you have experience, you have everything. So do you think that you of course some of you are involved, but maybe not on the top of the decisions? Do you think that would be important also for that step to be done?
Without my generation, Nigerian football will never come out.
Yeah.
It is plain simple as that. Because as a youth, you need a figure to look up to.
Yeah.
And those figures are what push you to dream. And there is no better figure that can push you to dream if it's a figure that is from your kind, your country, your race, because you can relate. You can relate to their limitations. An African kid who wants to make it at Juventus cannot try to look at the way Zidane did it. Zidane is not 100% African. He's born in Algeria, but he's French. Because he's, or maybe I should use another example. Like, for example, he cannot look at the way Del Piero did it, because he's Italian, and he's a boy from juvenile from Italy, and they did all the pampering and they helped him to get him there. Whereas as an African, you can follow and look at, okay, how did Sunday Oliseh do it to get to Juventus? He worked hard here, he failed there, he succeeded there, he fought that, he did that to get there. Oh, that is like my background. Okay, I can imitate. Now, in making progress in football, I believe you succeed in football, you take what somebody has already done and you make it better. Then you go to the next step. But you have to first have in your hand what somebody has already done. That is why I wrote my book. Anybody who reads it that is at a young age or young and aspiring player, you already see what we already did. Now you can read it, you see it, you have it in your hands, and now you decide, how do I use this to my own advantage? I have to make it better. Because if you do it the same way I did it, you might be good, but if you want to be great, you have to do it a little better. So that is how it has to be. For that reason, my generation is needed in Nigeria. Without them, the football is struggling. The only time after our generation that Nigeria was able to win something was when they took our captain, Stephen Keshi, as the coach of the national team. Yeah. And then in 2013, they won something. May his soul rest in peace, because he died recently. He died just some few years ago. So that is the only time. Now, if you speak to anybody back home, they will tell you, yeah, but we have tried to employ some of your generations, even you, Sunday, yeah. But when you get employed by them, there is somebody above your head that is making the decisions, not you. So all your knowledge, your ideas, and all your know-how is limited because the one above you who never played football, who in most cases doesn't even know football, doesn't even know what it's like to administer football at the world level, because he's a local bred administrator. It limits the limitations of the country because he is limited by his own situation. And for that reason, this is what is really affecting Nigerian football. And it's a shame because you have some players like JJ has played in Germany. So he has some experience from Germany. Tijani Babangida has played in Holland. He has experience from the Holland football. You have people like Finidi George, who's played in Spain. So he has the Spanish idea.
Emmanuel
Amunike has played everywhere and he's won all kinds of titles. So and then I'm blessed to have played in so many countries also, 8 European clubs. So I've seen different club levels. Now, imagine putting all these people in one room and saying, now, we need you to make out a project for us to make our football forward. Can you imagine the knowledge you are putting in?
I can. I can, because in my opinion, it will be.
It's a bank. It's a bank. It's a bank. It's a bank. It's just a bank of not filled with money, but filled with knowledge and filled with experiences. And that is, then you cannot look at this and say, how can Nigeria be struggling? So I don't know if you understand it. It's become very clear to you now what I said.
Very, very clear. Well, I don't know if you are aware, but I'm a fan of African football. I always been. I can share one.
I noticed that. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's okay. And I can tell you, the first I'm a scout, as you know.
Yeah.
And the first player, I was doing scouting when I was like 10 years old, I think. I played also football, not in a high level, but I played football. And the first player that I can tell I was scouting was Emmanuel Amunike. When he was playing.
Sporting.
No. Before that, I'm a Sporting Lisbon. I'm a Sporting Lisbon fan. Okay. And when I was a kid, I saw Emmanuel playing for Nigeria, I believe under 19 or under 17. And I saw him playing a tournament. And I was like, what a player. Unbelievable. It's like, as a scout, I say, when you fall in love, in a way, for a player, it's the right choice. It's the player that you want to sign. But I was young, I was a kid. And he was the first player I saw. I said to myself, I wish this player could play for my team, But it was very unlikely because he was playing for Zamalek, nothing was... it was not on the news that he could join Sporting, and after I think 1 or 2 years he joined Sporting. And I said, well, this is great. It's fantastic. A player I've been watching. I fall in love with his style of playing. And he joined Sporting. And then he went to Barcelona. And everybody knows his story. And I had a chance also to interview him. He's a fantastic guy. And I believe, like you said, if you guys are more part of the structure of football in there, you can do amazingly. And it's not a coincidence that Jose Mourinho, a few years ago, I believe he was at Chelsea, he said that the future is in African football. Because, you have talent, you have everything, you have you have all the skills, everything. And I believe actually it can be Nigeria, because, you were the ones to start it pretty much, also Cameroon in 1990, they also had a great team, but some countries they have a better structure, if we can say like that. They have a better history in producing players than others. So we have here a great question. Okay, it's quite long, but I'll try to do my best. So Che Joki, usually, first of all, thank you, because I know you watch our talks every week. Thank you, first of all. So, Oliseh, sir, how did you really feel getting a coach job in Europe? There are many of our coaches back home here who have tried and not reached there. I'm really a big fan of your coaching journey, and it shows that with hard work, perseverance, and a bit of luck, you can make a name a name for yourself there. Nuno, thank you so much for this. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you for your question and for being watching. So happy to be seeing Oliseh here. I can't wipe the smile off my face. So this is great. Thank you for that.
Well, it's a nice question. First of all, coaching in Europe has been difficult. It's been very difficult in the sense that I've had to work my way down from the ground. In fact, I started coaching kids, and it was my son's team, and that's way back as in 2005 when I started that. So I started with the kids, and then I coached the under 19s, and then eventually adults and all that. But I was just like learning. I was trying to run the ropes, and it's been difficult. But the coaching itself, it's first of all, I followed a lot of coaches that succeeded. I wanted to know what made them succeed. Why were they different? So I did a lot of research, just like I did research for my book. I did it on a lot of coaches, and to find out what made them move, and also try to learn a lot from playing styles, and try to look at from the playing styles what makes this playing style successful, and what are the antidotes to each playing style. So those are all things that I had to gather up, and as a coach, I use that. And I think the coaching experience I had have been great. I've been blessed with so much success. I was recently able to orchestrate a second division team in Holland to the first division, Fortuna Sittard.
Yeah.
And but I think what's been most difficult is not just the knowledge, is the fact that there are so much restrictions and limitations that one has to fight through to get through it. And I think I felt that we as colored people, we don't get a lot of chances, which everybody knows. It's no secret anymore. But I just felt that at the same time, you have to be ready when the chance comes.
Yeah.
Because you cannot afford to fail.
Yeah.
Especially if anybody's going to fault you, don't let them fault you by your competence. Let them fault you with one story they can always manufacture, but don't let them fault you by the fact that you're not a good coach. And that's something that I've been blessed to have had, that's, to be able to coach, because, and it's something I find easy. It's something I enjoy doing. And people, if I may share this, people think coaching is all about what you do at training or how you are with the players. No. Coaching is your preparation is very important. But the most important is when the game starts and you're standing there. Yeah. Because what you prepared is not what you meet when the game starts. So it's up to you now as a coach now to immediately adapt and say, we're prepared that day we're going to defend. Now they're attacking. How do we handle it? Are we ready for it? Did we prepare for that at training? Do the players know what to do? How do I get the communication out? What do I change immediately? What can I change now?
Yeah.
Individual players, and I have to change the big part in the dressing room at the halftime, because then it concerns the whole team. You know, those kind of things. Those are the secrets that you have to look at and say, okay, what can I do? It is very important, in my opinion, that if you want to succeed, you also have to have personality as a coach. You are the one that's going to be sacked. You are the one that's going to be so if you let somebody else tell you who plays in your team, because he's normally European clubs, they let you do that. But in my case, for example, I was unfortunate to run into an employer who wanted to tell me who plays, who doesn't play, who sits on the bench, who does this and that.
Yeah.
But when we lose, you are sacked. Huh? So
Yeah.
so it was up to me, and the fact that I was able to say no. You pay me, I bring you success. And the fact that I stood my ground, I was able to be successful. You know?
Yeah.
And what made me so happy was that when I left, the first 2 months, they were able to cope because the players were still playing my football. I'm talking of Holland now. But the year after, when most of the players I had built for 1.5 years had all been driven away, the coach that took over now, he now had to play his own football.
Yeah.
What a disaster. You know, they escaped relegation by 1 point. The second year they got relegated, but COVID did not let them go down. So you see, then it became very clear that, so all what happened before, he just benefited from the work of Sunday Oliseh. So these are the kind of things. These are the kind of things that I feel that as a coach, one has to face.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful job. It's a beautiful job because you help somebody else get better, and it's nice when you see your team before I took over and after I took over. It's really great.
The progress. And it touched a very, very interesting point, very interesting aspect that I agree also with you 100%. Is that is most all about your own decisions, you know, is to take decisions, take responsibility of your decisions. When you are in the bench, you know, you need to think by your own head. Of course, you have, you know, your assistants, you can listen many people, but you need to know what's the important information, what is not, you know, and you need to decide by your own head. Like you said, in the end of the day, if the things go wrong, it's you that are going to be sacked, you know. So, and many coaches you see in these days, they copy a system that it already exists, you know. And if you are not constantly in an evolution process, you will be stuck on that. And like you said, the coach that came after you was copying a bit what you've been doing, but you were already ahead, and the ideas were in your head, not on his head. So you know what I mean. He cannot just call you and say, Sunday, if it was you, what would you do? And you see, like, even in the system that the team plays in these days, it was always like that, not only today. But you see many coaches, they copy what the others do. And you said one thing, and it's true. Like, it's not only what you do in trainings or to build a training, because in these days you can have access even to the trainings of Manchester City, of all those clubs. They are not so different, the trainings or the training sessions, but it's all about the decisions in the you also to understand the players, have that sensibility, and also to, you know, to build a team, to understand the players. And this is also me talking like as a scout. Sometimes you don't need to choose the best players for each position, but you need to choose the players that work better as a team, you know, not necessarily the best ones for each position, the ones that actually are better working as a team. So it's many things that people think it might be easier, but it's not. It's decisions all the time. It's more about the decisions and like you said,
but it's also an evolution. It's also an evolution in the sense that football is just like life. Nothing stays the same. It keeps changing. There are some coaches who were very successful in the past, but now they are all struggling, and they are becoming out of touch, and they're now looking for excuses why they're not succeeding anymore. It's because of this, because of that. Let's face it. Football now is the richer you are, the easier it is to win. Because we all know there are some coaches who are winning titles now. People are calling them the greatest, but when you look at the quality of the players they have, You look at the
Yeah.
players they have on the bench of play, on the bench, just waiting to play. The players on the
Yeah.
bench are enough to play in the champions of
Yeah.
another country or another team in that same league. And so you understand also that money is important, it helps. But at the end of the day, if I would pick just one example, for example, people think that it is by watching one coach work. That's how you can get it. Go to watch his training. It helps. But
Yeah.
if that was true, that means that every assistant coach of Guardiola will
Yeah.
now be winning also titles in everywhere
Yeah.
they are working after him. So
Yeah.
that means now that because you were his assistant, so you know the
Yeah.
way it works, so you also can start winning. But that is not the case. It takes more than just watching somebody because he has it here,
Yeah.
and he is acting based on what he sees.
Yeah.
He's on the bench. The game starts. He's watching, and then he sees that okay, this one is working. Okay, no, it's not working at this way. Hey, I need you to do like this, like this, like that. But you watch him in training. But when you now are in this place, you don't know how to handle those problems. Then you start to think, what would he have done if he was here? It's too
Yeah.
late. The game is over. You've
Yeah.
lost already. So that is how I think it's a beautiful job coaching, but it's now become scientific.
Yeah.
You're a scout, so you should know also.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's too much scientific, but I believe that is also important. Your life experiences that you went through, not only in football, but also in other areas of life, like all the challenges you faced, the way you think about life, the way you are as a person, it's all together that makes you be like good or not. It's not just like you said, it's not because I will be 1 year with Guardiola that I will be like him, and and I don't want, actually, because people are different. I need to understand my capacities. We also it's very important also we understand our limitations. That's important. Try to improve those parts also, and to see our own profile, like it's the same as a player. If you were trying to play as JJ Okocha, for example, you were completely different players. You will lose your assets, and you couldn't be a good player, but this, I'm strong doing this, I can do this better than him. And the same, if he was trying to play like you, he couldn't be like you. You know what I mean? So it's also part of, like I said, your life experience, the people that you deal with. I don't know if you do it, but I also, many times, the best people also to learn with is people from outside football, because they can see things that for us we already assume that they are so simple, but they ask us questions that they actually make us think, why this person is asking this? Oh, this seems so basic, but it's not. It's also this sharing that we are doing in here, sharing ideas, thinking by our own heads. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just part of it. This is just my opinion also, and I agree completely with you. And thanks for sharing that also with us. So going a bit back to the beginning of your career, you left Nigeria very young. I believe you were 16 at the time, no?
Yeah, I was a kid when I left home.
Yeah, 16, I believe, if I'm correct. And you went to play in Belgium. Yeah. How it was your adaptation in the beginning?
It was difficult, and that's all that I put in the book. So, and the good part is that it was difficult. It's extremely difficult, and in fact, I detailed it more in the book. And I think everybody can get the book on Amazon. You can get it also from.
I'm gonna ask you that. I'm gonna ask you that. Yeah, that's important because
you can also get it from my website, which is sundayoliseh.tv. So you can order from there, and then it will be delivered to your home. The thing that is, I explained it clearly there because it was difficult, and believe me, when I see the way football is today, it is way easier now.
Yeah.
To really, because then there was not a lot of us that come in from Africa at the time. There was the limitation of the number of foreigners outside Europe you could play in the league. In fact, not even from outside Europe. from every country. So that means, for example, Belgian clubs could have only 3 players from outside Belgium.
Yeah.
So Portugal could only have 3 players from outside Portugal. But the Portuguese were lucky because they had a rule with the Brazilian league that allowed them to have a lot of Brazilians in the league.
Yeah, so, in the league, yeah. But we also had a problem with some of our best players playing abroad. I can tell you that I had a chance to interview Paulo Futre, the great Paulo Futre, and when he was at Paulo,
Paulo was my teammate in Reggiana.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. The fantastic guy. He's amazing.
He's a great human being. He's an amazing guy. An amazing
fantastic.
Say hello to him. Say hello to him.
I will for sure. He's fantastic. I will send you also the interview I did with him. And he was at the time, and you played with him, and and he went to Reggiana because at AC Milan, and he played afterwards. He played for AC Milan. They could only play 3 foreigner players, and they were like great players, Boban, Savicevic, and players like they could only choose 3 to play. That those times nobody can imagine how it was, and it was And another thing, and another thing for adaptation, there was no internet at the time, so you couldn't call home or you couldn't see your family like. Maybe you were calling home, I don't know, maybe once a month, and to be on the phone just like 10 minutes or.
Yeah, but don't forget then calling home was expensive also.
Very, very expensive.
So if you call Africa for 5 minutes, good luck. Huh?
Yeah. Your wages are gone. Yeah, even if you are a footballer.
Your wages are gone.
Just to call 10 minutes to be with all your family there, around the phone. So this guy, younger people, you are very lucky that you didn't go, you don't need to go through those things. So you played along, we've been talking about some players, you played along with players like Zinedine Zidane, Jari Litmanen, JJ Okocha, of course, Jurgen Kohler, Dani, that I had the chance to interview 2 weeks ago, and he did a very nice video. And he said hi to you. Unfortunately, he wanted to do a surprise to you, but unfortunately, he's working today because he works for a Portuguese television here. So he couldn't be here. But I will put you guys in touch for sure. You played also with Antonio Conte, that is now is a champion again for Inter Milan. Edgar Davids, that actually is the coach in Portugal. Now, Emanuela Munich, that we already spoke, George Finidi, that also had a chance to interview, the privilege, Thierry Henry, Alessandro Del Piero, just to mention just some players that, they are just fantastic, like you. Can you mention one, if you had to choose just one, which one impressed you more the first time you saw him in the training sessions, that you were like not expecting at all? That you could have that quality?
Was Rashid Yakini.
Oh yeah, a legend here in Portugal. He was a legend here. You know that, of course.
Yeah, with Boa Vista, Victoria.
Vitória Setúbal.
Sorry, Victoria Setúbal, and then he was Rashid Yakini. For me, was just exceptional. From the first time I played with him, I found. He had better quality than I saw him play before I played with him as a teammate.
Yeah,
and he has exceptional finishing and really explosive finishing.
He did a great career. Of course, everybody in Portugal loves him. Loved him, and
I think for so many times he won the highest goal scorer in Portugal. I think if I'm not mistaken, as much as maybe 3 or 4 times he was voted highest goal scorer in Spain in the Portuguese league, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And
playing for a little club like Victoria Setúbal is a lot, huh?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's not easy to play there. Yeah, exactly. So it was a legend, completely a legend there. It was also one of the reasons that pretty much all the Portuguese were supporting also Nigeria in that World Cup, where he scored also a goal, and he celebrated in a unique way that we all remember there in the net. So fantastic. I believe he is also you mentioned him in your book, and
Yeah,
and for sure it's also in his honor that you also write the book, and it might be also like a reason that you wanted to keep a record of those stories for people also, for the things not get lost in time. It's
yeah,
important.
because if you look at it now, the kids of today who we need to make our country great again,
Yeah,
they don't even know about the greatest striker that Nigeria ever had.
yeah,
They don't even know how he was. They just see maybe some images. And
yeah,
but you see people like your age, my age, or the ones that are like 30 or 35 who were fortunate to see him play some games on television. Those ones are now going like, wow, if you knew Rashidi Yakini. But these ones now, what they are looking at, they're not even looking at Nigerian strikers anymore. They're not looking at strikers from the Premier League. Those are the ones that are doing well. Strikers from the Spanish league.
yeah,
Whereas you cannot dream of making your country great or Africa great again if your dream is based on a foreigner who's playing in a foreign league and he has no relations to
yeah,
uh, your own league and your own nationality. It's not a question of it's not racism now, but it's a question of nationalistic instincts now.
yeah,
It's the fact that you need your kind to help you dream because your kind makes it feel like it is possible.
yeah,
Whereas if you have to look at with all the limitations we have in the world today, if I have to base my dream on somebody who does not have those limitations that I am experiencing based on my background or where I'm from, then the dream will never come to it will never work out.
yeah. It's completely, I agree completely with you, and it's different. And so talking about it, just a question like, how do you see like many players now? Because Africa produces so many quality players, and you can see that. You can see France, pretty much they are world champions, and pretty much all the players, they have roots, they have African roots. Even Portuguese players, like one of our greatest players was Eusebio. He was from
Really,
Mozambique. Mozambique.
I met him. I was very happy when I met him
Oh yeah.
in 1997 when we played the Europe versus Africa game in
Okay.
Lisbon, and he
Okay.
was the one. He did the kickoff. It was so nice to see him. So
Yeah.
nice.
And
Yeah.
such humble. I had the chance. I had the privilege to meet him in person. And it was actually a funny story, because
Humble
when
guy.
I was a kid, and he went to my school, and he wanted me to join Benfica, and when I saw him, I was like, because Eusebio was like Pelé for us. It was a legend, but he also had like African roots. Like he was from Africa.
Mozambique, right? He was
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Mozambique, I think.
yeah, Mozambique. He was born in Mozambique. So how do you see, of course, if European nations can make it, winning World Cups and European Cups with so many players, with African roots, why shouldn't African teams, win? So
I don't want the French to be angry at me, but as far as I'm concerned, we've
yeah,
already won our first World Cup
yeah,
because the World Cup in Moscow 2018,
yeah,
Africa won it, not
yeah,
France, because
of
the
course.
French national team was just Africans everywhere.
That-
So
that's true. That's true. That's true. And but on the other hand, do you see also, how do you see the fact that many players that they don't have opportunity? For example, we are not here to talk or to judge anyone, because you can make your choices. But some players, they don't have the chance to play for the country. Let's say Wilfred Zaha, for example, he doesn't have the chance to play for England, so he goes and plays, and he goes to play for his country in Africa, because his parents are from there. So how do you think those players should have a more important role to actually choose to play for the country that represents more for them, despite the fact that which one is more important or will bring more titles to them? They should just keep their roots, because you see so many players that actually played for African nations, like Didier Drogba, or even Emmanuel Adebayor. They did so much for their countries, they've been like legends in there. George Weah. If those players were not playing for their nations, they couldn't make it. They couldn't bring young players, like you said, to have those icons, to have those examples. So don't you think that those players should choose with their heart more than thinking about the success? Because if they are really good, they will bring a team up, like we can say that Ronaldo is making Portugal much better, but if he was choosing to play
much better,
much he's doing pretty much everything. But you can see now that the new generations, we have great talents now. Portugal have probably the best national team that we ever had, because now he allowed one thing, that's the mentality, the winning mentality. Before we had golden generations, but we didn't have that example of a guy that actually is a winner, and is hard worker, and he loves the game. Every year he gives everything. So if we didn't have that example, probably we never won the Euro 2016. Do you think is the same? So you think those players should choose to play for their countries, to play for their home countries, instead of just going to play for the ones that give them more visibility?
Before we judge the players,
not judging. This is
okay. Like no, I'm not talking of us now. I'm talking because people judge them.
People
judge them. No, you are not judging. We are discussing now. You are stating the facts.
Yeah,
that is at least to the best of my knowledge. Before we judge the players as why should they go to the national team, they should go to their countries of origin, we must ask ourselves what is possible for the players. Now, some players will want to play for their country, but when they go back to the country of birth, the disorganization and the ego fights, the maladministration that exists there, is totally going to make even any hope for them even being competitive almost impossible.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they look at it. My playing there, in as much as I love my country, but it might hurt me because this is my career. I have a short time to play. I have just 10 years if I'm lucky. So instead, when they get an opportunity from a country that is already organized and it is their adopted country, like Sahar tried to play in England, but fortunately he was not played. I knew he was in the national team. He was invited to the English national team, and eventually it didn't work out. Now he's decided to go back to his country to play for his country of birth. But I think we must also give compliments to FIFA that have changed the rules. Formerly, once you play for one country once, you can't go back to your former country. Now FIFA says, no. If you've not played a certain amount of games, you can still go back to your country. Otherwise, your career is blocked, which is very good. But you must also look at it that the players also, if they go back to their countries now, if they play for their countries, if their countries had organized national teams for them to do well, African nations will always play in the quarterfinals, semifinals of the World Cup, for sure. For sure. We saw that with France. When you look at the number of African origin players who plays in the French national team and who are excelling, when you look at players like Mbappe, that is worth over 200 million euros now. When you look at players like Pogba, you look at
Matuidi.
It is Matuidi. It's unbelievable the quality of the team they have. But those players, they were born in France, they grew up in France, and even if they want to go back, even if the French initially don't want to play them or don't want to play them, those players, they cannot go back to play in their countries because in their countries, the organization might not be there, or the hunger or the will to want to win, that they might end up in their lifetime not even playing in the World Cup ever.
Yeah.
So they say to themselves, look, I love my country, but I also want to play in the World Cup. Yeah. So if I go back to my home country, they might not let me play in the World Cup. So I will use this adopted country, at least in my lifetime, I will taste what it's like to play in the World Cup. So that is why I'm saying people should not judge them on this. You should try maybe a bit just to understand why they do what they do.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's not an easy choice also, because, like in the end of the day, if you were there, we cannot judge, because maybe if we were there, we had the same choices, especially players that were born already in Europe, or they came very young to Europe, for example, like in your case, and you've been there and you live in there in Belgium. But can you imagine if you were playing all your career in Belgium? The country was also opening the doors for you, so it's also a way for you to say thank you for it, and to represent the national team. And sometimes your own country doesn't recognize you the way they should, or they don't treat you the way you should. So it's always tricky to judge. That's why we shouldn't judge. But of course, if the things were better organized in that term, and the better distribution of the players, of the talents, but even without it, I'm sure that we will see an African nation, I hope Nigeria, to win a World Cup. And that's of course that's possible, because the generations are coming, and when you guys get, like, your generation will get more involved in the game again, as coaches, as directors, whatever, like FA presidents, whatever it is, as long as everybody is going on the same way, they have the same way of thinking, they have the same target, that is winning, and in a good way, and doing the things properly, the things will happen, and nobody can stop you. So we are almost finishing. Okay, unfortunately, we could stay here for a long time. It's a big pleasure.
No, then my wife will kill me, because she just made dinner. She's waiting for me.
Oh, okay. Lucky you. So, can you just leave some advice for young players that will become professional players, or the best advice is to buy your book, because you say everything in there?
No. Well, I will advise them to buy the book, because it will help them a lot. But the biggest advice I could give them is that you have to be hungry. Yeah. You cannot make it in football if you're not hungry. And it is not just by chance that the only player to ever reach the world status of being World Player of the Year, that had a luxurious childhood, in comparison, is only been one, Kaká. All the other players who've been World Players of the Year have been players who will say to you, look, I was starving, I had to succeed. It was either football or death, either football or death. So you have to be hungry. Now, I'm not saying, now these days, if you live in Europe, you might not be as poor as Maradona or Pelé or all those.
Yeah.
Or like, but the difference is that you have to be hungry for the job. I want to succeed. It has to be like, it's either I succeed or I don't. It's like if I don't succeed in football, I don't have air. That means I'm going to die. So I have to succeed. The moment you can have that in your head, I believe success is yours, because it is the fact that you're hungry that will make you invest in yourself, and invest in working hard. It will make you always have priorities of success. Everything that will make you succeed, you want to do it. If you don't drink, you don't smoke, you have a very good chance of being exceptional in football.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that advice. And do you think also the title of your book is a good advice, also to say no when it's needed?
At the final chapter of my book, I really broke down the audacity to refuse.
Okay. So
and the only clue I can give is that my career and my life and my success has been built on the fact that I took a lot of cues from one man, from one extraordinary man, and who's a world legend. But I just looked at him and said, like, look, he has his own weaknesses, but he has so many good qualities. I need to take them. This is what is going to make me succeed. And I believe me, that is what has helped me to have food on my table today. And that is all in the book.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And to finish, of course, can you share again with people where we can find your book? Of course, in different countries. Someone is also already asking here Chijoki again is asking where you can find the book in Nigeria. Well, not only in Nigeria, I think all over the world. We want to know where we can find your book.
The book is now worldwide. Last week it became very sure you can get it the whole world now. You can get it you can get it now from Amazon in every part of the world. If you're in Nigeria, you can get it in Lagos from Roving Heights bookstores. You can get it from Latana bookstores in Lagos and around the country. You can also order from my website, the www.sundayoliseh.tv. You can get it from there. You can also call Roving Heights and they will deliver it to your home in Lagos or in Abuja. You can get it. Roving Heights is sharing the books all around Nigeria. But if you are in Europe and you want it to get to your place, you can always get it through Amazon or through my website, and then it will be delivered to you. Simple.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure that everybody will be looking into it after we finish now. Go and check it and get the book for sure. It will be great. I will do it myself, of course, because I'm I'm looking forward to read it. And thank you so much, Sunday. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna let you go. I don't want you to have troubles with your wife, any trouble. So
it's been 26 years of marriage. I think she's tired of me now, so don't worry.
Well, I don't want to be the reason for any arguments. Okay.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
So enjoy your dinner. Thank you so much for being here with us, sharing again your knowledge, and it's with people like you that make us happy inside in our heart and make us smile, and that we learn from. So thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Share with your friends. Stay safe and see you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye, Nini. Bye.
Bye.